Hello and welcome back to This is Winter Sports, a podcast series brought to you by the Passion Stories podcast and supported by Protect Our Winters UK. I'm Emma Cole, your host, and as always I'm so excited for this week's episode because we are just so lucky to get wonderful insight into winter sport, and I'm absolutely buzzing because this sport is one of the ones that I've watched at the Olympics for years and always thought it looked so much fun, and our guest is going to take us through all of it. And what I would advise is go and watch some ski cross. I think it will inspire you just tenfold because it is electric to watch, and I can only imagine what it is like to take part in those epic competitions. And just before we get onto it, this episode comes out just before Christmas. So wishing all of our wonderful listeners a very, very happy Christmas, festive season, however you celebrate. May yours be glorious. And did you know that sending this podcast to your friend, family, colleague, whoever is a great gift? So go for it. And so that brings me on to this week's guest, because I'm joined by Ollie Davies, who is a ski cross athlete for Team GB, and he is the first Brit to ski in the big final of a World Championships. He has made some serious history in the world of ski cross. Ollie made history in 2021 when he was the first British skier to reach the big final at the Ski Cross World Championships, where he finished fourth. And then in 2022, he fulfilled his lifelong dream by competing in the Beijing Olympic Games. And then, 2023, he secures his first World Cup podium. And he is just among the world's top ski cross athletes. And we're going to hear all about what it takes to actually be a Brit and not come from a typical alpine country, and how you can make it in ski cross. Why is ski cross so electric? And all about those all-important upcoming Olympic Games. So without further ado, let's welcome to the podcast Ollie Davies. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the This is Winter Sports series. Cannot wait to hear about ski cross. What exactly is it? Like, how would you describe it in your own words?
Thank you for having me. The easiest thing, if anybody asks me what ski cross is, or they don't know what ski cross is, I'm like, have you seen motocross? Have you seen BMX racing? If they have, that's the easiest thing to relate it to. If they haven't, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit harder. Essentially, four guys racing down a track with some big jumps, some turns. First one to the finish wins. There you go. Knockout format. And then I'll dive into a little bit more of there's multiple rounds and there's a qualification process if they're interested. But it's hard to explain what it is if you are unfamiliar to the sport of ski cross. But a lot of people have actually seen it in the Olympics. If they start to hear about it, they're like, actually, I've seen that in the Olympics and it's sick.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've just been watching a whole load of videos and it is epic. And can you tell us, like, what speeds do you reach? Because it looks rapid.
Not as quick as you'd think, to be honest. They've tried to, over the past few years, they've tried to bring the speeds a little bit down. I mean, I think the highest speed last year was probably in the 90s. You were maybe hitting kilometers an hour, probably hitting around the 90, maybe 100 in the fastest tracks. It really depends because ski cross is so vast depending on the tracks we have. You can have tracks that are quick, you can have tracks that are short, that are more technical. Highest speed, you're probably 90, maybe 100 in some sections, but I'd average it around 70k.
Is that slow in the ski world?
Like, if you compare it to, like, because most people I know, like, the traditional, they're like downhill, where those guys are flying. They're on their own, though, granted. They've not got three other guys to worry about. So I reckon it's probably middle ground. It's like a in between a giant slalom and a super G sort of a speed. And then we've got jumps and rollers and other crazy obstacles they're thrown in our way to be like, there you go, deal with that. And then on top of that, deal with three other guys, fight out to the finish, knock yourselves out.
And tell us about these jumps.
Big, most of the time. Again, so ski cross naturally is fairly dangerous. We've had, over the past few years, we've had some, especially before I started ski cross, there was some pretty devastating injuries. So they've tried to make a conscious effort. So same like the skiing world in general, alpine ski cross are making a conscious effort to make it safer for us. So they're trying to control it. They test it a lot. They send people down before the race arrive, but they're pretty big. I mean, some of the flats. So there's the jump, the takeoff, and then there's a flat to the jump, and then there's the coping, the knoll, is which we're meant to clear the end of the jump. And that distance can be anywhere between 20, 30, 40 meters. So from where you're taking off to where you're landing, plus you're going up. You're not going straight to the landing, you're going up and over. So it can take out. And then again on top of that, then that's how ski cross varies from, say, your freestyle. Your freestyle guys, the guys that are doing like big air, they're trying to go high because they've got to get air time to do their tricks, to do as many flips as they do or whatever. Like those guys are nuts. We're going for speed. So we're trying to break the parabol. The freestyle guys, they'll try and go up high and land clean, but we're trying to break the physics of that and try and go as low as possible to be as quick as possible. So instead of hitting the jumps, the takeoff would take you naturally up, where we want to like break that curve to try and go as quick as we can to the landing. So there's all of that then comes into play, which is wild as well.
And so at the same time as you're trying to go as quick as possible, as you said earlier, you've got these three other people all
Yeah,
like, hustling, kind of bustling for place. What is it like?
it's wild. It's wild, and it's especially like I'd say that some of the sketchiest, the scariest stuff is jumps, because in our sport, same as F1, we have drag. Like drag is a huge on some tracks. If there's some tracks there's a lot of passing, there's some tracks there's not a lot of passing. But the ones that are passing, it's mostly you're passing on either somebody's messed up or drag. You're using their slipstream to overtake them. So you're staying right behind them as long as you can. And if you're hitting that jump, when you've done a practice run or you've done a qualification's on your own, you've hit that jump at a certain speed on your own. If you're getting tracted in, you're getting towed in by some guy into this jump, that then speed isn't the same as it was as you ski beforehand. Then you've got so much more speed coming into this jump than you have in a training run, and it's like wow. So that's when it gets wild, and like everybody wants to win, so everybody's trying to like hustle for those places, and that's when it gets crazy.
So just to clarify, on the qualification, you do the run on your own.
Correct. On the qualification, so we rock up. A race in ski cross, unlike any other event, is quite dragged out. So we have training days beforehand where we get to know the track. Even though the tracks are the same, we go to the same stops on the World Cup Tour all year. As in each year, the tracks are the same. They'll vary a little bit, different features, different jumps, but the essence of the track remains the same. So we know them. But you rock up and you have 2 days practice normally, where you'll get 2 runs a day, get a feel of the track. You can choose whether you want to go alone, whether you want to go with other guys. You can feel. Then you get qualification, which is solo time trial run, and then you get the top 32 from the time trial, then go through to finals, which is when it gets head-to-head racing, and then it's a knockout format from there to finals till you get a winner.
So how do you stay calm when you are jostling for place and you're shoulder to shoulder with these other racers? What's going through your mind?
I mean, experience has like helped me a lot with that, because like in my earlier stages of ski cross, like you want to pass at all costs. You want to, as soon as you see a gap, you try and go for it. But like with years and having a bit more experience, you see, because the tracks are the same, there are points in the track that you can pass a little bit easier. So with experience, like to maybe be patient. And then from day to day, it can change as well. Like we're in outdoor sports, like anything can happen. There are days that there's a headwind, there's days there's a tailwind. Like there's from one day to another, it could change, so that passing opportunity is completely different, or your game plan's completely different, where maybe it isn't best to be leading the run from the top, that because the guys there's a tailwind or there's a headwind, which means the guys behind are going to pass and you'll be shot if you're out in front. So it's really just trying to stay as calm as you can. Like, but then again, like when I struggle to process this while I'm in the actual heat of the moment, when you're in the heat of the moment, I find it really hard to sort of like take a step back to be like, actually, if I bide my time, I'm going to be able to pass down there, or I do struggle with that. You see a gap, you want to go for it. Yeah, staying calm.
And is that the same as when you're at the starting gate and you're about to launch yourself down?
Different again. In ski cross, you have everybody works differently. You have guys that will need to be super hyped up and they need to feel like they're a caged lion in the start gate. Or you have guys that will just be as mellow as they can. I'm sort of like a middle ground. Like if I'm too hyped, I'll try and do too much, or I'll make a mistake because I'm trying to do too much. I'm trying to outwork everybody by creating speed at every single opportunity. So I'm sort of a middle ground where if I'm too laid back, too chilled out, then I won't be responsive, I won't be reactive, I won't be ready to go. So I'm sort of a middle ground. Like I have to find some middle ground where I'm ready to go, but I'm not too hyped. So I'm not going to go out all guns blazing, but I've still got that little bit of energy that I'm going to push as hard as I can.
And how do you find that middle ground? Like you mentioned the lion trapped in the cage, ready to go, listening to the hype songs. Do you have mellow hype songs? Like how do you get to the right level?
I'm not really a hype kind of song sort of a guy. I mean, I've worked over the years with various psychologists and stuff to sort of like find what works for me and and it's experience has sort of like helped me find what works best for me. It's hyping myself up like last minute is what works for me. Like last minute, last 30 seconds before I'm in the gate that's when I start getting hyped up. Anything before that, I just try and stay as mellow as I can. Like I don't like to think about anything that is to do with the racing. Like I like to have my mind elsewhere. If somebody's there with me, my coach, technician, whatever it may be, I just chat rubbish, chat anything that's not related to ski racing. If you got some fun jokes for me, give them. If you got some anything really that's not ski racing, I'm there for that. And that last 30 seconds, and that's when I start focusing on what's actually coming, and then that's when I get in my zone.
So cool. And I mean, this passion for ski cross, where does it come from?
It came from a fairly young age. So I moved to France when I was 8. That's sort of where my ski racing journey began. So I moved to France when I was 8, and then I started up in the local ski club, and started normal ski racing, normal alpine, all the rest of it. And back in then there was ski cross was starting to go into, so ski cross came to the Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver. So one of the sort of pioneers in ski cross came from where I grew up in France. So he started this fun race, which was for the kids, and you got loads of prizes, and he brought all his sponsors. So if you won this race, you got like everything under the sun from all his sponsors. So it was insane. And so I did these races. I did this, and I was like, actually, I'm pretty good at this, and I actually really like this. So I wanted to do ski cross from then onwards, and everybody was like, stay in the alpine side, get the technical knowledge, because I mean everything that comes in ski cross, it's like all the fundamentals from your alpine skiing, like your GS, your Super G, like the turn is the same. So I stayed in that, and then I was like itching, so I was like, I want to do ski cross, and then eventually I did 3-4 years of phys. So I think I was 18, 19 at the time, and I was sort of getting burnt out of alpine. I was like, I'm not really enjoying this as much anymore, and I was like, ski cross is the time. So I moved over to ski cross there, and then like the fire was relit, and I was like, this is my call. This is my calling. This is what I've been wanting to do all these years. But I equally so glad I stayed in alpine for so many years, and that everybody gave me the advice to stay in alpine and get those fundamentals that I needed. So then that transition to ski cross just became so much easier.
And I mean, so you moved to France, and was that specifically for the skiing, or was that just kind of a coincidence in life?
It was kind of a coincidence in life. So we were a skiing family, lived in Guildford in Surrey growing up, so
Nice.
very different from the mountains. And we'd always go on family ski holidays, like once a season. We go out to the actual resort we live in now. We go there once a year, and then there was an opportunity for my dad to buy out there. I built something. They were like, actually, we don't want it. Do you want it? And I was like, okay, let's do it. So we went out there for a year. It was the original plan. I'm like, okay, we're going to France. We're going to go for a year, and then we'll come back to Guildford. We went out there. Like, we spoke no French. I have 3 siblings. Like, none of us spoke French. We just got taken out to France, dumped in the local school. Like, there you go, swim. So that in itself was like a culture shock, like on another planet. Long story short, at the end of the year, we were fluent in French within a year. We'd made loads of friends out there. We were skiing in the winter every day. I'd finished school. The school was in the village. Like it's not a big resort. It's a small mountain resort. So I'd finish school at 4 o'clock, and I'd go out and get the last hour of skiing of the day. So I was on snow every day. The lifestyle, I had so much more freedom than I had in Guildford. And they're like, "Do you want to go back or do you want to stay here?" And we're like, "No, we don't want to go back to the UK." He was here, so that was it.
And so do all your siblings live there now as well?
They do live there now. I mean, most of them like moved on. They're doing their own things, but yeah, 2 of them still live there. They're ski instructors in the region. So yeah, that it's become part of us.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? When you look back thinking, had your family not made that move, like where would you be now?
I'd be on a golf course.
Okay, well,
I joke around with that sometimes. My second mom is really my number one passion in life is golf. I'd be like, Dad, if you hadn't moved, like you hadn't taken us out there, I'd probably be a professional golfer or something. I'd be in the warmth. Like it's a running joke.
well, there's always time. There's a fair few sports people that take up golf later in life. So
Unfortunately,
Andy Murray.
I'm not good. I'm not good in that. Yeah, I'm not that good. I'm not that good, unfortunately.
And I mean, if you step back and look at yourself as an athlete, a GB athlete, does every GB athlete need to move to an alpine area in order to kind of fulfill their career in snow sports?
In this day and age, I don't think so. I think back when I was sort of my generation of skiers, I would want to say yes. I think now with the private programs that the UK have abroad, I think no. I think if that is the route you want to go down and you have grown up and you've been in indoors or you've been on dry slopes or whatever, I think the facilities are there nowadays to go and in your winters live in Austria or wherever in France where the other academies are. I think in this day and age, the way skiing is, I don't think it's necessary. I think it helps. Don't get me wrong. I think a big part of my success is having access from such a young age and the volume that I had access to. That every day I could be on snow and you develop a natural feeling for it that you can't really develop if you're not on snow all the time, just messing around. And not necessarily racing, not necessarily like anything. You ski for the pure enjoyment and pleasure of skiing. And through that, you develop these skills and these natural feelings that you just develop, and it's second nature, really.
As someone who loves the outdoors, it's so frustrating that getting to epic places with my gear often means relying on planes or cars, because greener public transport options are limited, disconnected, and definitely not designed with adventure in mind. Take bikes on trains, for example. It can be a total nightmare, as every operator has different rules, every country has different policies, spaces are limited, and UK train prices, need I say more. That's why the Protect Our Winters UK Clean Miles campaign matters. They're calling for public transport that's affordable, viable, connected, and built for adventure, so that we can reach the mountains in a greener, easier way. Transport is one of the biggest drivers of climate change, and Transport is one of the biggest drivers of climate change, and we urgently need better options. Head to the link in the pod description now to sign the campaign. And tell us about these feelings of representing your country on the big stage. What is that like?
Pretty insane. Pretty, yeah, it's hard to put into words, really. Like, because now it feels so normal because I do it day in, day out. But if you take a step back, like going back to growing up as a kid, like if you told me that when I was a 7-year old growing up in Guildford, I'd be representing my country in a winter sport, I think I'd have, yeah, said something that I shouldn't say, but, or I probably didn't know. I didn't know at that age anyway, so it's all right. But yeah, I mean the pride that I have, like back in 2022, my first Olympics, words can't describe. There's such a cool experience, like the feelings, the honor of representing my country at the Olympics. Like, I'd always like I didn't know it'd be skiing, but I remember growing up and watching the Olympics. I was like, that is insane. That's something I want to do, and then actually coming true is pretty wild.
And do you remember before 2022, when you got your kit or when you got the call up, where were you? What was that moment like?
I think I'd known for a while. So the call up, the build up was gradual. And ski cross, how it works is there's a international ranking, and you have to stay within the top 32. Only the top 32 of the world get a spot for the Olympics. So you need to be in the international 32 world ranking. And so I'd known for a while that I'd had some good enough results, and it was pretty much impossible for me to not be in the ranking. But then when you get the official call up, it's like, actually, well, this is happening. Like, it's official. I'm going to the Olympics. Oh yeah, I can't remember where I was, but I remember where I was when I got a kit. And so I couldn't go because we had races, so we couldn't go to kitting out back in London or wherever it was. So I was at my coach's house. It was before a race, and I remember I was staying at his, because it was COVID time as well, so everything was weird. We couldn't stay in a normal hotel because we were like quarantining. We had to be super careful with what we were doing before the games. So I remember we were staying in his his dad's mum had passed, and she had an abandoned house. Nobody lived in it for years, and it was this huge house, and it was super creepy. And our stuff got delivered there. I remember just sitting on, there was like no furniture, there was a bed, there was no furniture whatsoever. So we'd had dinner there, and our kits arrived, and I was like, hey, we're leaving to China tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna open up and see what's there and see what I needed to wear for travel and blah blah blah. I remember I was just sitting on the floor of this creepy house with like kit everywhere. Pretty surreal. It
The
was a bit of a weird
glamorous
one.
life.
Yeah, yeah. That's something I completely forgot as well until you mentioned. How weird it was.
That is, I'm loving the imagery though, abandoned house and GB kit everywhere. It's
Yeah.
glorious. And what was that Olympic experience like for you?
It was cool. It wasn't the sort of first Olympics I'd sort of always dreamed of, being COVID. It was like masks, no family, like being super careful, like in the build up to it. Like, I don't think I could enjoy it as much as I'd always sort of like dreamed of enjoying it. And I also don't think I enjoyed it as much because of the sort of like hype I'd put around the Olympics equally. Like, 'cause it's an Olympic Games, and like it's like, it's the Olympics. Like, I want to do well at this event. Like, I've been dreaming of it for so long, and I'm finally going to the Olympics. And I sort of like put it on this pedestal, which really I shouldn't have. Like, I don't think I could enjoy it as much as I should have and could have, just because of the pressure that was surrounding it. Because I had put it on a pedestal, and like it's the same guys I'm racing day in, day out. There's nothing. It's a race. The track's the same. Okay, it's in a different place, but I do this every day. The guys are the same. They're the guys I'm going up against in every World Cup, at every other race of the season. There's nothing special. It's the Olympics, yes, but treat it as a normal race. And so I'm glad. I'm also glad that that was, because I think Milan's going to be completely different. Obviously, out of COVID, closer to home, family and friends are going to be able to come. There's going to be a completely different experience. It's like, I'm actually glad that the first ones are out of the way. I got to deal with the pressure, deal with everything else, and these ones I can just enjoy it, and also like race free with no pressure, and just enjoy the whole process of it.
I guess, yeah, because you've got that one Olympics already. You know what to expect, although it'll be a bit different. And I mean, moving forward to the upcoming Olympics, which is so exciting, what does it look like for ski cross? What are you feeling for it? Who are the big contenders?
Big contenders. I mean, there's always going to be your big countries. Always have one or two guys that are always knocking on the door. In ski cross, each season you'll get somebody that comes out and sort of asserts their dominance. Like in ski cross, there's a lot of emotion that goes into it. And there's a lot of, if you are skiing well and you sort of build a hype around yourself, that the guys that are skiing well, they seem to keep on skiing well because they've got that confidence within them. And like that plays such a huge role in ski cross. So I guess we'll find out. There'll be some guy, because we've got 8 races before the Olympics. There'll be some guy that's going to come out all guns blazing. Maybe me. Maybe I'll be that guy
Yeah.
that comes out and I'll have a successful start of the season. I'll be like, I'm untouchable. But again, like there'll always be a few guys that you'd be like, okay, actually, I would pick them. The ski cross as well, like you can't pick. Like if you were to bet on ski cross, like you'd be a fool, because it's such a volatile sport. Like there's 32 guys that are in that start gate. Like you could put money on any of those guys on any given day. There will always some guys that should be up there that will make it to the final 8, final 4, but to win, I don't think you could you could bet on a winner.
Yeah, fair. That's some good
So
knowledge.
the Olympics will be the same. That will be the same, especially it being Olympics. It's one of the key events. It's like World Champs, Olympics. Those events, like anybody can win. It's anybody's day. Somebody could just be feeling it that day, had the right breakfast in the morning. I don't know what it is.
So tell us a bit about your preparation up until the Olympics. What is it looking
So
like?
training's done now. We've had a pretty grueling summer of training. So now leading up to Olympics is pretty much racing. So we've got 5 races in December, 2 stops in January, I think, both double headers. There'll be 4 races in January. I think we're actually going to get because normally we have a test event before the Olympics. So it's the season before. So in ski cross, they need to make sure the track works, because they could build a track and it could be completely off. Like the jumps could be running too hot, or they could be running too short, or there's so much that goes into actually building a track itself. So I think we're going to get 2 days on track in, I want to say January sometime, early January maybe, where we'll get to go to Livigno, because our event's in Livigno. We'll get to go to Livigno, have 2 days on track, probably like 2 runs a day. It'll be like super controlled, and so everybody gets their fair share and nobody's getting any advantage. But there'll be 2 designated days where we'll get to go there, check out the track, see what the snow conditions are like. So that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of racing. December's busy for racing for me.
So is it the World Cup coming up then?
World Cup coming up. So we've got 5 World Cups before Christmas. So December is called, it's not really labeled that anymore. There's the Cross Alps Tour. So we have 3 different stops, 5 races in total, 2 in France, 1 in Switzerland, 2 in Italy, all before Christmas. Preparation's done. There's nothing more I can do. So it's gonna be intense, but it's gonna be fun. It's good. There's tracks I like. There's tracks I've performed on in the past, because then again, like you can have, as I said earlier, like ski cross, you have this sort of like confidence that builds around it, and this hype that you get if you ski well and you're skiing well. It's the same. Like you like a track, you don't like a track. These are tracks that I like and I've performed well in the past. It's going to be good.
Thinking about, I guess, like the Olympics and these amazing competitions that you get to do, when you look at the ski cross, I guess, pathway in order to get where you are, what does it look like for other sort of UK athletes maybe aspiring to be where you are now?
To get into ski cross, it's a difficult one. We don't have the greatest of pathways in the UK, which is unfortunate. The best way to do it, and if I was to advise anybody to get into ski cross, like I would tell them what I was told, is just stay with Alpine. Stay with Alpine, because that's going to bring you fundamentals that are so vital in ski cross that you can't really do without. But also ski every terrain. Just ski and enjoy skiing. Like go hit jumps, go ski powder, go ski any conditions possible. Just play around with your skiing, because that's where you develop all these little feelings that you need in ski cross. It's just skiing, just enjoying your skiing and just skiing as much as you can, because there are ways to do it. There are some private programs that exist nowadays that you can go to, but still, I'd still advise it. Stay in Alpine, get those good fundamentals that will be crucial, and then eventually do what I did. Be like, actually, no, this is boring. Let's go do some fun stuff. Let's go see ski cross.
And start like shoulder barging everyone on the course.
Exactly. We're not allowed. You get told off if you shoulder barge.
It does look quite like unintentional contact heavy, maybe?
Intentional contact is probably the way. So now we have, I mean, it's been quite a few years since we have this, but we have like a yellow card, red card system. So anything that is deemed illegal contact from behind. So if you were to crash into somebody from behind, if you were to open up any arms so somebody's passing, if you were to block them in any way and not allow them through, but if you're going to block them, you'll get yellow carded. If it's too dangerous, you'll get red carded straight away. Red card, I think, gets you a 2-race ban. Yeah. And then same, 2 yellow cards gets you a red card, 2-race ban.
Yikes.
So, and that follows you throughout the whole season. If you were to get a yellow card on race 1 of the season, that's going to follow you all the way to the end of the season. So if you get a yellow card in race 7, that'll be double yellow, red, you're out for 2 races.
Have you ever had a yellow card?
I've never had a yellow card, which I don't know if is a good thing or a bad thing. Because maybe sometimes I should, because then again, I don't want to be too nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too nice. I want to have that killer instinct as well.
We'll look out for you and your yellow card only.
I mean, hopefully you can get warnings as well. There's like a middle murky ground where they're not sure whether it warrants a yellow card. They'll give you warnings, be like, hey, watch what you're doing.
And the other thing that I noticed when watching some of these videos, which were basically like 2022 Olympics and various other more recent competitions, is a lot of athletes tend to be from Canada, Italy, Norway, and I've forgotten the other one. There's obviously not
France.
a great diversity of, not a great diversity of countries. How does that make you feel?
Like there's always something in the back of my mind that thinks like I'm at disadvantage. These big nations, they have the funding that we don't have, the British don't have, being the popularity of the sport. Like you go to Austria and skiing's like football to them. So there's that aspect of it, is I feel like, well, they have so many staff, they have so many coaches, they have so many technicians preparing their skis that I don't have, and maybe I'm at a disadvantage. But then equally, it's also a blessing as well, because those big teams, there's so many of them. Like to have your voice heard in there, you take the Canadians, for example, they're like a huge circus. Like there's 8, 9, 10 athletes, whatever there is, but then there's going to be that amount of staff as well. Traveling with that, and you're having to you can't decide anything. Like I have the ability to decide when I want to travel, or when I want to take a day off, or if I want to arrive on this day, I can arrive on this day. If I want to leave on that day, I can. So there's that side of it as well, which is a lot easier for me to control my own program. I don't have this whole circus to go around it. But it'd be nice to have a few more Brits there. There are some younger Brits coming, so hopefully there's some guys that are doing Alpine that listen to this and be like, actually, you know what? Come join us. It's a lot more fun, I promise.
I love it. Ollie, I thought we'd finish with a little quick fire round so listeners can get to know you a little bit more. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
How would you describe your skiing style?
Aggressive.
One thing people would be surprised to learn about you.
I love golf.
The emoji that you use the most.
There's a guy with little sunglasses. All day long. Cool. I love that.
And the piece of advice you wish you could have given your younger self?
Enjoy. If it's quick fire, just enjoy the process. Like there'll be good days and bad days. Like enjoy the bad days as much as you do the days, because this won't last forever. My body doesn't feel as good as it did 8, 9 years ago. The longevity isn't forever, so enjoy every moment.
Love it. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
What series? You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you, Emma.
Wow, Ollie Davies, what a guy, what an inspiration. And his passion for ski cross is just phenomenal when he talks about all the intricacies of the sport and the challenges, and his passion from when he was 7 and 8 and to go from alpine to ski cross, and he made that move, and you can just feel the delight in his voice as he's like, yeah, I do ski cross, and everyone who's an alpine skier should come and do ski cross. What an inspiration. You know, it is a really interesting conversation around growing up in the UK or growing up in a non-alpine country. Like, how do you get to be a professional in that sport? And I thought Ollie's thoughts on actually the advantages that he has of having his, you know, he has essentially a lot more freedom in what he does, his choices, what time he can travel and things like that. And it might seem very small, but I guess when you actually put it into reality, your life is, as an athlete, is very structured and very regimented, and Ollie's able to kind of carve his own. So that is awesome, and we're so here for it. And with the Olympics coming up, I guess it's good to have that perspective of putting it on a pedestal. You know, he's going to be at his second Olympics, and a European Olympics is for those local countries is very different to one that's far away. So it'll be just absolutely fascinating to see. And as I said at the beginning, go and check out ski cross, go and watch those videos. I cannot recommend it enough. It is a wicked sport, and you will just feel amazed, bamboozled, all of those brilliant words, so go check it out. I also really enjoyed his approach to the pressure before an event and how he manages that and how he reaches this kind of mid-ground that he was describing of just hyping himself up 30 seconds to go, and he doesn't want to talk about the race or anything to do with the sport, the track, anything at all right before, and then it's that tiny 30-second window that he can then use and amplify, because the pressures on these athletes is unbelievable, and the pressure on yourself when the Olympics is your dream is just phenomenal. So incredible that he's worked out a way that suits him, and cannot wait to see how he gets on at the Winter Olympics. We will be following closely. So make sure you do as well, and go check out Ollie Davies on Instagram. I will drop his link in the description, and go check out GB Snow Sports, Team GB, the whole team. It's going to be amazing. Make sure you're following along. And as always, make sure you follow, like, subscribe to the Passion Stories podcast, because you want to know when the next This Is Winter Sports Series episode drops. And as always, thank you to Protect Our Winters UK for supporting this series. Go and check out their Clean Miles campaign. Have a wonderful festive break, everyone. Thanks to Toontown for the tunes.